Hi, katzcradul here. Today I'm going to teach you how to make the most delicious fluffy dumplings you've ever had. Now I realize that some people don't like fluffy dumplings. They like the heavy, rather chewy dumplings. And if you're one of those, you don't have to leave me a comment telling me that. You can just bypass this altogether. This is for fluffy dumpling lovers only. Now, I'm not exactly going to teach you how to make the whole thing, chicken and dumplings. This is really just about the dumplings, although I'll tell you a little bit what I've got going on here. In my pot, I have sauteed my finely chopped celery, onions, and carrots, just to add some vegetables to this dish and some color. I cooked a chicken at the beginning of the week and saved the stock as well. I deboned the chicken. I cooked it all night and deboned it and defatted the broth, saving it in a separate container, and have enough for probably four complete meals. So tonight it's chicken and dumplings. So I don't cook that deboned chicken very long. I just really warm it in that broth. And here we go with the dumplings. Don't worry about the measurements. I'll have them for you in the show more section below. In my big bowl I have flour. I add parsley flakes, some baking powder, some salt, and now I'm going to stir that together because I want to get that mixed together very well. You want to do that before you add the liquid, because once you add the liquid, then you begin to develop the gluten, and you don't really want that to happen if you're trying to make fluffy dumplings. All right, so here's the chicken fat. I skimmed off the broth once it cooled and put it in a little container labeled schmaltz. And I'm going to get 2 little spoons here. There we go. And then save that for another recipe. And now I'm going to add the milk. And I will blend in the milk and the fat at the same time. I'm trying to work myself around the tripod legs here. Prepare wanted to get up high so that she could show into the bowl. So I'm kind of just sitting right under it, trying to make it where you can see this. All right, so I just gently began stirring it together. Most of what you're going to see me do here is scrape the flour off the sides of the bowl, and then just every now and then stir the dough as it begins to absorb the liquid. This goes together so quickly. You can whip up dumplings. Once you know this recipe, you can whip up dumplings in just like 5 minutes. It's just so easy to do. All right, they're just about ready to go. If there's a little bit of flour on the outside of the dumplings, that's not a problem. It will serve to thicken the broth. All right, that's good. Let's drop them in. You will notice that my liquid is not boiling. It's just barely simmering. So you just drop them. Be sure you don't drop them on top of each other. And if you have a really big family, you'll either need to double or triple this recipe. I'm going to get 6 or 7 rather large dumplings out of this recipe, and that's plenty for our little family of 3. We don't like a lot of chicken in our chicken and dumplings. We really like the dumplings and the broth and the little tiny vegetables all chopped up. So about 1.5 cups of chicken does it for us here. Put the lid on for 10 minutes, and then I check them. This is how they look. A little bit of the broth has boiled up on them. They're a little bit doughy on top, so at the 10-minute mark, I very carefully turn them. Sometimes you can just push down on one corner and they'll just flip. I don't know why these gave me a little bit of trouble tonight. There we go. Just as gently as you can, get them turned. It helps if you're using a smaller pot, but I just didn't want to make a big old batch tonight. All right, and that's how they look when they're turned, and I just put the lid on them for 2 more minutes. And then this is how they look. Nice and fluffy and fat dumplings. Put about 2 in the bowl, and then spoon in some of the chicken and the vegetables. Look how beautiful the broth looks with the carrots in it. It keeps it from looking so anemic like chicken and dumplings sometimes do. I just can't even tell you how good this smells. Let's see what Prepare thinks about it. It's really hot. Be careful. Okay. Blow a little bit.
Mmm. Oh, that's an amazing dumpling. That's delicious. Wow. Oh, there's so much flavor. It's so good. Good job, Mom.
Well, you just can't get a better recommendation than that. They were absolutely delicious, even if I do say so myself. This is a dish that my mother, when she comes from Texas to visit me, she requests every single time. I always think she maybe will choose something else, but she always wants me to fix chicken and dumplings. My grandfather was the same way. This is a family favorite, and if you like a fluffy dumpling, this recipe cannot be beat. I hope you'll try it. And until next time, this is Katzcradul.